Welcome one and welcome all to London Heathrow Airport by Scene, which is a recent airport that was just released for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And here at Flyby Simulations, we're going to be doing just like a sort of like a preview flight out of here and going all the way to Dublin in this flight. The flight number is going to be British Airways 836, and we're here parked at Terminal 5. The performance, as expected, is obviously very horrendous because, I don't know, this particular airport, for some reason, along with a few airports in the States, really tends to tax my system. But today we're going to be doing a full flight just like we used to do back in the day. It used to be very exciting, but I haven't done one of these for, I think, around 6 months or so. So it's pretty exciting to get back into the game and back into doing full flights. I'm pretty excited about it. We're again back in the A320 Neo, but I think this is the first time we're in the British Airways colors, so this is pretty exciting stuff. I have to say, from the first impressions of just flying the drone around London Heathrow Airport by Scene, as you guys can see, the performance is indeed atrocious, but just taking the drone around and flying around this airport, it's not one of the most high renditions of London Heathrow Airport I've ever seen for a simulator. I've seen some better ones in the past. Oh wow, there's some sort of aircraft that's taking off on the other side of Terminal 5 over there. That's the noise I can hear. But yeah, it's not one of the most highest renditions. You can see the ground textures aren't done to the mark, especially for charging around 18 Great Britain pounds. I think that's the price of this airport, so it's pretty expensive for what you're getting. But it's an airport regardless. It's a pretty big international hub, so I decided what better way to get back into this full flight shebang than to actually get into London Heathrow Airport and fly out of here over towards Dublin. Now, Dublin Airport, where we're flying to, is also going to be a PAYWARE scenery today. It's built by MK Studios. I'll leave all the relevant links to all the PAYWARE sceneries I'm using down in the description section of the video, so you guys can go check it out. Along with that, I'll also leave a link to my actual flight plan for today down in the description section of the video. So if you guys want to follow along and kind of replicate the exact flight we're going to be doing today, you guys can totally do that. A couple of changes that are going to be made to the full flight series. I'm going to try to make it a little bit more concise. I used to do a lot of rambling back in the day, and I realized that it's kind of hypocritical considering I'm rambling right now. But this is only for the first full flight video that I'm going to be making over the course of the next few months. And the future videos is not going to have this much rambling. This is just a bit of a taster. But in the future videos, I'm going to be speeding up some sections, such as the pushback or the taxi procedure. I'll try to have some nice background music or some sort of nice sort of ambient sounds that you guys can enjoy and really get into the aircraft as compared to me just talking over it. As well as that, I'll also try to speed up some sections of the video that might sort of be boring or might be conducive to people skipping those parts, such as the FMC programming. I'll speed that section up. And of course, if you guys want to learn how to do all of that, just drop me a comment down in the comment section below, and I might make a video showing you guys how to actually program the MCD or how to actually sort of go through all of the standard operating procedures on these aircraft. So I think that's all the rambling done. The AI traffic that you guys are seeing in the background, this is all movable traffic. This is courtesy of a mod called AIG Traffic. It's relatively new, not anymore actually. It's been out for like 3 months or so. It's an alpha or beta if I'm not mistaken. I've injected around about 70% traffic into the simulator right now. As you can see, it's plenty for London Heathrow, and the performance is already horrible. So I'm pretty happy that it's not set to 100%. I shudder to think what would happen to my performance if I did. But there's some sort of aircraft taxiing over there. You can just see the tail over there. That's, I think, a British Airways aircraft. But I think that's enough rambling. I'll try to talk about the mods that I'm using currently as the video progresses. But as of now, let's get into the flight deck and get this baby up for departure. Alright, so welcome to the flight deck of the fly-by-wire A320NX mod. I have started up a few systems, so I've turned on the external power, I've turned on the batteries, and I've also turned on the nav and logo light. Nothing else has been done, so let's go ahead and get the no smoking light on. Let's get the emergency exit light to arm, and let's supply that all-important oxygen back in the cabin to our lovely flight attendants, as well as to the emergency oxygen systems in the cockpit itself. Let's get the IRS systems up and running. And oh, another mod that I'm going to be using is PAX, which is going to simulate all the boarding music and all of that stuff. So let me just go ahead and start up that flight here. And it should start running. We should start hearing some boarding music back there. Oh yeah, and that cough sound and all of that comes from FS Realistic. So yeah, tons of new stuff is going to be incorporated slowly into my full flight videos to try to make them realistic and try to get you guys the quality you have come to expect from flyby simulations. Anyways, so as I said before, I'm going to try to speed up the process of actually just programming the MCDU. So I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're done sort of programming the flight plan into the MCDU. We still have to input some performance data, but I'm waiting for the actual defueling to happen in the aircraft first, because I think it's going to take around about 3 minutes estimated to defuel the aircraft from what it's currently at, which is around 7,000 kilograms of fuel down to about 4,571 kilograms of fuel. So in the meantime, what we can do is we can set up the rest of the flight plan. We can take a look at the Navigraph charts and sort of do a pre-departure briefing or something like that. And we can also go ahead and start up the APU. So let's do that. So get the master switch up and running and wait for the APU flap to open down here on the lower ECAM. Let's wait for the flap open indication. There we go. And we can go ahead and start up the APU as well. We're going to leave these seatbelt signs off just until the fueling gets completed. And this guy coughing right next to me is very much irritating. So I might have to turn that off in FS Realistic as we progress. FS Realistic is one of those plugins that allows you to increase immersion by adding realistic shaking motions when you land and take off, wind vibrations, flap sounds, and various different component sounds inside the flight deck as well. So I highly recommend it. Again, all of the mods and add-ons that I'm using currently will be linked down in the description section of the video for you guys to copy and sort of emulate in your personal simulators. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so APU is up and running 100% on the N, and then we can go ahead and get the APU bleed, and we can disconnect the external power. No longer need that. We can get some nice bleed air flowing into the cabin, so air conditioning is now active. What else can we do? Let's go up to the overhead panel. I think the IRS systems are still in the process of aligning. I think that's going to take another 2 minutes, so that's coinciding with the refueling time as well. Perfect. In the meantime, we can go ahead and set up the FCU for departure. So our local QNH today is going to be the fly-by-wire fly pad, or this electronic flight bag actually is very helpful. 1016 millibars. So let's go ahead and set that on the primary QNH over there, as well as on the standby right down here. 1016 is set. And I'll go ahead and pull up some Navigraph charts for us to look at to actually deal with the pre-departure briefing here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so as you guys can see, we have the Navigraph charts in front of us. Very, very useful tool to have. In-game panel also allows us to actually have this open in a proprietary fashion, so that's good. We're here parked at Terminal 5 Bravo. We're going to be doing a nose right, tail left pushback, and then we're going to go take off of runway 27 right, if I'm not mistaken, which is this one. So we're pretty close to that. All we have to do is do a nose right, tail left takeoff, as I mentioned. Go up straight onto Charlie, enter Alpha, and then go all the way down on Alpha and maybe enter runway 27 right on Alpha 4 or Alpha 3. So pretty straightforward departure. As for the standard instrument departure itself, the transition altitude for today is going to be around about 6,000 feet. Airport elevation we really don't care about. In an Airbus, everything is auto-computed. I'm just looking for the initial climb clearance here. So for runway 27 right, the initial climb clearance looks to be... why can't I move this around here? 1 second. Let me just figure this out. Oops. There we go. So the initial climb clearance is max 6,000 feet, above 4,000, max 6,000, then to CPT VOR cross blah 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 at 6,000. So I think the maximum slated altitude here is going to be 6,000 feet. Of course, the maximum 250 knots below flight level 100 restriction still applies. So we have some information to input, basically just the FCU. We can just input 6,000 feet as our initial climb altitude. We have 1016 set on the FCU here, as well as on the standby display. I think we're done with the refueling process as well, and the IRS systems have aligned, so we're pretty much good to go. Let's go ahead and get rid of the catering and baggage services, and I think we're also done with the boarding, as our very American flight attendant has just instructed us. There we go. Also, the ground traffic sort of like ground equipment plugin that I'm using is Latin VFR RX. So they add realistic looking liveries for all the ground equipment for different parts of the world. So this is of course the RX Europe plugin. So we have that all done. We can go ahead and lock the flight deck door now, since we're about to depart. We have everything else pretty much set. We just have to program some aspects of the MCDU. So I'll be back with you guys in just a second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so these are our performance statistics for our takeoff today. So we have a V1 of 134, VR of 135, and a V2 of 139. Transition altitude, as I said before, is going to be 6,000 feet. Pretty long runway here at Heathrow, around about 4,000 meters, 4 kilometers. So 60 degrees flex temp is fine, and we're going to be doing a flap 1 takeoff as usual. So with that all done, I think we're pretty much ready for pushback. Let's go ahead and call the pushback tug. Let's go ahead and say start pushback.
This is ground. Stand by.
I really wish they added sort of local accents for this pushback truck. I think there are some, like Portuguese, I think exists, Spanish exists, French exists, but I don't know if there's an English accent version of this. They all sound very American. That's another complaint I have even with the PAC-X plugin. They only have American sounding flight attendants. I'd like them to change that in a future update if possible. There we go. I think we can ask them to just reverse. We're ready for a pushback here.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed, and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
Alright, as they lift, we can go up to the overhead panel, get the seatbelt signs up and running. We're done refueling. Let's get the beacon light on. And we can also get the fuel pumps up and running for engine start. And I think we're pretty much ready to go for engine start. So I'll take care of the route discontinuities and stuff like that on the way. I'm not going to subject you guys to that boredom. We can also go ahead and get constraint on my side, airport on the other side. Pretty standard stuff. For the TCAS, we can go ahead and turn the transponder on. Can get this system to on as well and get this to all. We'll turn it to TARA, which is Traffic Advisory and Resolution Advisory. I think Traffic Avoidance and Resolution Advisory when we get closer to the runway. That goes for the weather radar here as well. So with that all done, we're pretty much ready for pushback. So I'll let you guys enjoy the pushback procedure in peace. Let you guys hear those Neo engine option variants firing up over the wing view, and I'll see you guys in just a second.
Hand baggage should not block the aisles or exit. It must be put under the seat in front of you or in an overhead locker. Please place items in the locker carefully, as they may fall out and injure someone.
I'm feeling shaken and stirred. And you are Joanna. Right, okay. This is a very important scene because you've got Henderson Cross. We done rock before. Let's go.
Action. All exits are clearly marked and are being pointed out to you now by our gorgeous cabin crew.
You've done rock before. I can see you have. Very impressed with you. Keep pressing.
Opening the doors automatically inflates the evacuation slides. High-heeled shoes must be taken off as they may tear the slide. Don't worry, you'll all still look absolutely fabulous without them. That's strictly necessary.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise people won't know who you are. I'm actually a model myself.
Oh, really? What kind of modeling?
Plus size male modeling, actually. What have you done?
Like
Vogue.
Vogue?
Vogue.
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 Waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the safety briefing video is happening in the background over there. I apologize if it's too loud, but let's just go ahead and do our flight control check. We had 2 successful engine starts. Let's go full up, full down, full left, full right, neutral, rudder left, and rudder right. And again, I apologize for the performance. I think it should be much better as we start approaching Dublin, even as soon as we start climbing out of this horrendous airport, in terms of performance, obviously. Spoilers are armed, flaps are set. We have the clock running here as well. Let's go ahead and get the APU off. We no longer need that. Let's go ahead and get the taxi light up and running here as well. And pretty much everything is good to go. So, let's go ahead and start taxiing. Parking brake is released. And I'll see you guys in a bit. Enjoy the taxi.
Please do not inflate your life until you've left the aircraft.
Too much. Spoiled it. Before takeoff, please ensure your seat is in the upright position with armrest down and your table is folded away. If seated by a window, please ensure the blind is open when it's set to clear. See, there we go. That's more.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so I think that was the end of the safety video with Chapati. I think that was his name. Chapati is a form of bread in Indian cuisine, so I think he's supposed to be Indian in the video. I'm also Indian, for those of you wondering. That's why I know that. But yeah, so I think, as I said, we're at Charlie here, so we're going to go all the way in front and take a right, get onto Alpha, and then taxi all the way straight. Now, another mod that I thought of as I was taxiing is, you see all those autumn sort of spring-looking trees over there in the distance, brownish. That's not stock. That's not what you get directly with Microsoft Flight Simulator. With Microsoft Flight Simulator, you don't have seasonal variations in trees and stuff like that. You only have green trees. But this is courtesy of Rex Rex AccuSeason. I think that's the mod, yeah, and that changes the color of all the trees. Now, I've been told by a bunch of Brits in the past that colors don't normally change like that in England of the trees. The trees normally don't change color; they remain green, or they just shed all of their what's it called, the leaves, so you don't really see any colors. But that's the closest I can get to reality in some of the other areas of the world, especially, and it doesn't discriminate between places. So. Unfortunately, England also has to have those brown autumn-looking trees. But in good news, we have, wow, okay, that aircraft definitely, wow, that's an Emirates aircraft that just sped right into that terminal. I think that killed about like a dozen people. Not gonna lie. Anyways, so yeah, this AIG traffic plugin, very much still in beta, still does some funny things from time to time, but still adds to the immersion overall. And I personally seem to like it a lot. So. Yeah. Alright, so we're definitely coming up on some sort of international terminal over here. We definitely have some more international looking flights. We have an A380, looks beautiful. I can't wait for the fly-by-wire A380X project. If you guys haven't checked out my latest video, do check it out. It covers the top 6 airliners or so that are going to be coming for the simulator very, very soon. One of them being the fly-by-wire A380X mod that I can't be more excited about. So I can't wait to fly those Etihad and those Singapore Airlines and Emirates routes that I'm pretty much looking forward to exclusively with the fly-by-wire team. So, yeah, I think we're approaching the end of this runway, so we're going to be taking a left at the next juncture. So let's just take a look at our charts real quick just to make sure that we're on the right path. I don't know if Symlink is working properly here. I don't know what's going on. But I think we're supposed to take a right. Supposed to take a left here at Alpha 4. That should give us plenty of runway to take off. So, is this Alpha 4? This is Alpha Yankee 5. I don't know what that means. That should be Alpha... I think... No, this is Alpha 5. So I think we can go one more over, and then we'll take a left from over there. Let's do a full-length takeoff. I haven't done one of these full-flight videos in a long time. I don't want any mishaps. One thing I don't like, however, that I have to say is this eye adaptation thing. So you see how these displays are super dim here? I don't like that. As soon as you look out, you practically can't even see the navigation display because it's all black in the background, and making out various pertinent, important details on the primary flight display is also very, very hard. So I don't like that particularly. Anyways, as we approach the runway, let's go ahead and get the weather radar up and running. Let's also turn the TCAS to TARA. Let's do a quick takeoff config test. Takeoff is normal, and I think we're supposed to be taking a left here. Sorry about that. I've been rambling. Oh. Yeah, another thing I don't like, this aircraft just comes to a complete stop. I don't think that has anything to do with the fly-by-wire devs. I think that's just my peripheral device is not working properly. Anyways, that gives us enough time to get some of the other items on this upper ECAM sorted out. So, auto brake max is check, and cabin ready announcement. So, let's go ahead and chime the cabin real quick.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff, said by our very American captain in a British Airways flight. I don't know how that makes sense, but we'll take it. Anyways, as planned, we're going onto the runway at Alpha 4 here. So let's take a bit of a left turn. I'm giving too much power here. Slow this puppy down. There we go. Alright, so getting onto the runway, we can go ahead and do some of the customary items. Get the strobe lights up and running. Wing light can come on. We can get the landing lights on as well. And as we get onto the runway, we'll set the parking brakes, do a quick check of all of the different components, even the runway textures, to be honest, on this Any Builds scenery or whatever like that. I don't really particularly enjoy it too much, honestly. Like, it doesn't look too realistic, in my opinion. They can do much better. Some of the other devs, like Fly Tampa and even MK Studios, where we're going to be checking out the Dublin scenery when we land there, they've done such a fantastic job with various ground textures. Anyways, with all that said, I think the only thing we have left to do is to take off. So, let's go ahead and get the clock running. Let's go ahead and set the parking brake to off. And let's go ahead and give it 50% thrust. I can barely see it, but I think that's about 50%. Symmetric thrust established. Let's go ahead and give it flex. Man flex, SRS, runway. And auto thrust is blue. Airspeed is alive. There we go, trying to maintain the center line here. 100 knots. V1, rotate. Tapping the brakes, positive rate of climb, gear up. Beautiful departure, look at that. Steaming out of London Heathrow Airport. There we go. All right. Let's put the throttle lever to climb mode. There we go. Throttle climb is engaged. And once we take the flap in, we'll go ahead and set the autopilot as well. So that's the normal rule of thumb we have here at Flyby Simulations. Now we have that annoying wind sound. I'll try to get rid of that here in just a second. Airframe wind, I think it is, or some sort of wind sound effect. We'll try and get that to stop. We'll see if we can do something about that. Hold on. Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been able to figure that out. We'll see if we can figure that out in just a second after we set the autopilot up and running. Alrighty. Going into this beautiful cloud. Ooh, we get some turbulence here. See, that's FS Realistic in action. Alright, let's go ahead and retract that flap. And let's go ahead and set autopilot 1. And spoilers can be disarmed. We can get rid of the runway turnoff lights, and the nose light, wing light can come off. It's during the day. And look at that. We're in the clouds, baby. Alright, I'm just going to get rid of FS Realistic for the moment there. I don't know what sort of sounds it was making. Anyways, look at this, baby. This is beautiful. I think the current time in the sim is around about 1:50 p.m. So we should be getting to Dublin around 3:30, if I'm not mistaken. 3:05, actually. That's the slated time of arrival. And we have London down there, right below us. I've also installed the Orbex London City Pack, although I don't think we're going to be seeing much of that, considering our flight path doesn't pass over London, important London City landmarks or whatever. Anyways, we're stopping at 6,000 feet. Don't want to be doing that, so let's go ahead and get it to 380. Flight level 380, 38,000 feet is set. And let's go ahead and give it open climb, so you can climb to your heart's content, aircraft. Have fun. And QNH, we can go ahead and set it to standard. Now that we're passing the transition altitude of 6,000 feet, we can also go ahead and set this to 1013, which is the standard barometric pressure. And we're pretty much clean in terms of the aircraft. The aircraft is pretty much cleaned up. All we have to do is we have to set the landing lights to off as we get to 10,000 feet, and we're pretty much good to go in that respect. So, that was a beautiful departure out of London Heathrow, ladies and gentlemen. As I normally do these sort of videos, I will split the video into two parts, split the flight into two parts, I should say. One part will cover the departure and takeoff out of London Heathrow, and the second part, or the second video, which is going to be coming out relatively soon, should cover the landing and arrival into Dublin Airport. So, there's that. I was also trying to make the flight recorder plugin work, which is the replay functionality system within the aircraft, which allows me to sort of film the wing view as we take off and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it's not working. I'll have that running for the next sort of flight we do on this channel, so please excuse that. We're getting to around about 10,000 feet here, so we'll go ahead and turn the landing lights off, and everything else is good. So we have a pretty straight route in front of us here, so we'll also go ahead and give the passengers some time to get off, stretch their legs and stuff like that. So seatbelt signs can also come off, and that's that, ladies and gentlemen. So let's check out the wing view. Look at that. Some nice fields over there. If anybody is from Britain, in my comment section, please let me know if that looks beautiful or what. I love the cloud coverage here as well. This is pretty standard in England, I've heard. You have a lot of clouds all the time. Not too many clear skies. This is pretty clear, to be honest, for England standards. Normally it's overcast weather. I like this view too. It's pretty nice. Looks beautiful. Alright, so I'll see you guys in the second part. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And also make sure to hit that little bell icon or notification sort of icon to stay notified every time I upload one of these videos. Also, I have a Discord server that I've just started around maybe a month ago or something like that. We're sitting at 90 odd members there. I'd love to be I'd love to get involved with you guys over on that Discord server with various flight sim discussions and so on. So make sure to join it. The link is down in the description section of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the second one, where we cover the Dublin arrival and landing. So, thanks for flying by.